So let's face it, guys, I will never be cast into the Battlefield 3 Top Gun. When it comes to piloting, I am a little bit subpar, which is, you know, it's my own fault. I used to fly jets pretty regularly when the game first came out, but I haven't flown in months, and I mean months. It's probably been 6, maybe even more months since I've sat down and just went into the servers with the intentions of only flying the jets. And you know, I wanted to get my Maverick dog tag because I've always thought that was one of the coolest looking ones, and I was finally like, okay, let's sit down and get this Maverick dog tag, because you got to get like 25 helicopter destroys in the jets, and then just I think 50 kills overall with the jets. I was like, okay, that's doable. I mean, I've got 30 kills ish with the jets, so I only need another 50. I mean, that's not that hard. And you know, I never really flew jets too much. I've always been more of an infantry guy, but lately I was scouring the forums, and you know, I tend to do that just to kind of judge the community kind of opinion of the game. You know, what are they expecting for Battlefield 4, all sorts of stuff, because there's always things that the community tends to either agree or disagree with. And one of the hot topics I've noticed in Battlefield 4 and in-game is jets. You know, are we going to get jets in in-game? Is Battlefield 4 going to have jets in a nerf capacity? Because a lot of people look at jets and they see them as overpowered. They look at the jets and they're like, okay, these things are just so hard to shoot down. There's just, you know, there's not a lot of things that you can do to counteract jets other than other jets. And you know, there's a lot of really stellar pilots out there. I mean, I will be the first to admit it. I am probably pretty crappy if you think about some of the great pilots that I've seen out there. I mean, there's people that play Battlefield 3 exclusively to fly jets. I mean, I've seen people with like 15,000 jet kills. I mean, that's surreal if you think about it. That's a large amount of kills. But you know, I don't really see anything wrong with that. I don't really look at the jets and say, oh, they're overpowered. Because if you think about it, if you go into like a 64-man conquest server, there's a lot of factors that you have to think about as a jet pilot. You have to worry about other jets. You got to worry about all the helicopters. You got to worry about the mobile AA. You got to worry about the you know, the stationary AA, like the Pantsir or whatever it's called, the C-Ram on the boats, all sorts of different things that you have to look out for. Not to mention the Stingers are back and better than ever. I mean, those things are extremely powerful now since they got patched. I mean, there's even LAVs. You've got mobile AA that has anti-air rockets on it. So there's a lot of factors you have to look out for. So really, there's a lot of counters to the jets. There's a lot of things that can kind of disrupt their pattern. They're not the most powerful thing in the world like a lot of people tend to think they are. Watch where you're going, teammate. And you know, that got me to thinking, you know, in-game we'll probably have jets, I'm guessing. I'm guessing there's going to be at least one map that'll have some sort of fly map, and I think that'll please a lot of people. It's kind of sad that besides Armor Kill, there hasn't been a lot of jet maps. I mean, obviously we weren't going to get them in close quarters. That would be absolutely ridiculous, but you know, I think they need to appease to the certain demographic. Even if you hate jets, you got to admit that it's no different if you only fly the jets than if you only play infantry. I mean, they're in the game. They're in the game to play with, and I think that's what makes Battlefield 3 so dynamic, is the fact that jets are there if you get bored. And honestly, that's what happened to me. I was like, you know, I want to do something different with Battlefield 3. Let's play in some jets, and they were there to play with. And if I want to go in there and do some tanking, there's some tanks to do. If I want to just run around the game, there's tons and tons of weapons, you know, that I can sit down and play with on the ground. So that's why I love Battlefield 3. And I would hate to see jets come back in Battlefield 4 at some sort of nerf capacity. I would hate to see them be not as effective as they are in this game, because I don't really see them as a huge factor. I don't see them as I don't look at them and say, okay, well, these are something that needs to be removed from the game. And I know a lot of people actually feel like that, believe it or not. They look at jets and they're like, well, these don't really belong in Battlefield 3. They kind of disrupt the whole flow of the game. And you know, I really just completely disagree with that. And that's coming from someone who's not even a big jet guy. I'm more of a infantry guy. I feel like I have more fun just getting on the ground, having some good old fun shooting bullets at people. But every once in a while, I want to go up in the sky. And I think that's something that needs to remain viable for people to play with. Because I would hate to see some of the guys that really enjoy flying in the jets lose that ability just because you know, some of us people on the ground complained and whined. And if you notice, Battlefield 3 really started to kind of go towards that infantry-based game. It seems like DICE was trying really hard to push towards, you know, gun-on-gun fighting. They nerfed the helicopter. They made that thing absolutely a flying chicken in the sky. It's so easy to shoot down, and you know, chickens can't even fly, so that's the joke if you didn't get it. It's pretty easy to shoot down an attack helicopter now. Even if you get a really good pilot, I have the hardest time staying up, and I consider myself a above average helicopter pilot, above average gunner. I loved playing in the Havoc, I love playing in the Viper. They're always a lot of fun, but they're so freaking easy to shoot down now that it's actually kind of frustrating, and I honestly would hate to see that happen to the Jets. So let me know what you guys think. Would you like to see Jets return in the same capacity in Battlefield 4? Would you like to see them kind of nerfed? Or maybe you'd like to see them buff? I'm actually kind of curious what you guys think. Now granted, I did a lot of my video here was all in the fighter jets. I use a variety of different rockets. I use the guided missile, which you see me using here, which, you know, a lot of people actually recommended this to me when I was getting back into it. I was talking to a few people. They're like, yeah, guided missile's good if you're going to be doing a lot of ground fighting because it's a really easy disable. But rocket pods tend to be what I see most really good pilots fly with, and the thing about rocket pods is it takes all of them to even get a disable, so it's actually kind of tricky to get kills with the rocket pods. So I do like the guided missile, but I think rocket pods are just a little bit more versatile because you can use them on aircraft if you have to. Granted, that's pretty difficult, but it is a doable thing. So let me know what you guys think, though. I'm actually kind of curious if you think jets are overpowered, if you think they should return in Battlefield 3, and actually if you're anticipating them in in-game, because I know a lot of people are looking forward to jets returning in in-game, because besides Armored Kill, we haven't really gotten many different expansions that included jets. So let me know in the comments, because I'm pretty curious. And if you missed my other videos, here's a chance to catch up. You know, I did a Battlefield 3 L85 video yesterday, so you should check that out if you're a fan of that weapon. And before that, I actually did a Black Ops 2 video, which actually kind of talks about all sorts of first-person shooters. So even if you're not a Black Ops 2 fan, check that out, because we kind of talk about time to kill and if it matters in first-person shooters. But I'll see you guys next time. Peace.